Planning. As someone who's been able to study these things, who's had experience with these things, who's worked in poverty alleviation, we've got proven methods. So we can help community leaders by saying, this is your challenge, this is the problem, you guys bought into it. Well, if you guys can do some of these things, there's a really good chance you're going to be able to improve the quality of your community. Goals, working with community to help people set goals, understand that concept. And the most important thing, the most important contributor to poverty is apathy. And you saw it on the last slide, that apathy was the convergence of all of the roots together. It's, you feel hopeless. You just imagine the burden of that poverty on your shoulders. Vision is the antidote to apathy. And so you have to be able to come in and you have to be able to connect to people. You have to be able to speak to them in such a way that you inspire hope and vision and let them to believe that there's a brighter future if they can only work a little bit harder and learn a little bit more and implement a couple of other things. And you can't just go in there cold and be able to say, here's a biosand filter, good luck, here's how to make it, you guys have got it, we'll see ya. But you have to also say, and I believe that you guys can do it. And I believe that I can come back next year and see everybody in this community drinking clean water. I believe that. Do you guys believe it? And they say, yeah, we believe it. And now all of a sudden, you've been able to directly address apathy through vision. Okay. So what is SHAP doing? And I've got 4 minutes to tell you guys what SHAP's doing. Because all I've really told you about is what principles our organization stands behind. SHAP is working to be able to decentralize and open source poverty alleviation. Don't worry about this too much. A lot of technical stuff there, but I'm going to break it down quickly. When you look at decentralize, we think about going from something where great powers and great quantities of power were held by few. That's what I think of when I think of decentralized. Transitioning to reasonable quantities of power held by many. I think that kind of sums up decentralized a bit. Open sourcing. When I think about open sourcing, I think about the concept of that which was once controlled, expensive, bureaucratized, rigid, and private, now transitioning in an enlightened way to something which is now free, collaborative, flexible, accessible, and innovative. So SHAP is trying to build decentralized and open source poverty alleviation. What does that mean? I'm going to give you guys one more example real quick. Wikipedia, Encyclopedia versus Wikipedia. Encyclopedia Britannica was started in 1768, and they've been working for almost 300 years to be able to really build out their systems. And they've got a whole lot of manpower behind that over the last 300 years. Wikipedia was started in 2001, a little bit late in the game. In the latest version of Encyclopedia Britannica, there was 120,000 articles. That's impressive. I'm impressed. But when you utilize the open source and decentralized process, you get more done. And they presently have over 3 million articles in their English version and over 9 million articles in 250 languages. And that's what happens when you decentralize and open source something. So what's SHAP doing? SHAP's doing 3 things. And I'm going to be on time here. The first thing that we're doing is something we call WikiShap. We believe that WikiShap will change the world. What WikiShap is it's an online database or resource. And I know that a lot of you folks in here aren't all hip with the online stuff, but I'm telling you it's big, trust me. And this allows, and one of the major limiting factors to community development workers like myself and like people in our organization is lack of information. And the specific information I'm talking about is resources, tools, trainings, schematics, designs, all the types of things that different organizations or different community practitioners have been working for decades to be able to develop, but they're not comprehensive, but they've got this one thing figured out super well. They know how to grow garlic really, really good. Or they know how to be able to work with communities in water purification really well. Or they're good at digging wells. Or they're good at doing this, they're good at doing that. And they've got systems, they know how to train their people internally how to be able to do that. They know how to interface with communities. They know everything about these systems. But you know what? That's not going to change the world. Because most of us don't know how to do it. And if we all have to go and figure out what they'd spent the last 2 decades figuring out, we're not going to make any progress. But if there's a place where they can be able to validate all of that hard work and energy, by being able to upload their designs, their schematics, their trainings, the materials that they've been able to develop and utilize in an online resource hub that actually gives them incentive to be able to do so. And other practitioners all over the world, we're not talking about American NGOs, we're talking about that individual engineer in India who developed this really cool thing to be able to pump water that works really, really good. Or we're talking about this guy in England who was able to create a really cool system that helps the community overcome these sanitation challenges. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And WikiShap is an online resource hub that will be able to allow people to upload this information and allow people publicly all over the world for free to be able to access it, resource it, students to learn, community practitioners to be able to be trained, and organizations to be able to resource. We believe this will change the world. The next thing is our training program. Believe it or not, SHAP is actually not focused on doing stuff. We're not focused on doing community development work. I believe that's limiting. What our focus is, what our priority is, while we definitely and obviously have international community development projects, is training and developing aspiring philanthropists. Taking people who say, I want to get involved in this world, I want to make a difference, I want to do something different, I want to make the world a better place, I want to help people overcome poverty. I heard about this thing in Chile, or I heard about this thing in Afghanistan, or I heard about this thing in northern Uganda. I want to be able to make a difference. I don't know how. I'm knocking on the door of UNICEF. They're not giving me a job. I don't know what to do. And we can be able to take them in, put them through a basic, self-paced training course which allows them to be trained as a community development worker who understands sustainable and comprehensive principles, and then we can help them to be able to be dispatched to the developing world, either to support existing projects that we've got going, or other projects that they might want to be able to support, that other organizations have need of community development workers who know how to be able to do this stuff. And the last thing we've got here that I just mentioned is dispatching. And so far as an organization, we've been able to dispatch 14 community development workers. I think that's pretty cool. We've only been around for a couple years, but that's still pretty cool. Our goal is to be able to develop hundreds and thousands of community development workers, train them and dispatch them to every country in the world that needs it. Do you guys think we can do this? Do you guys think that it's possible?
With your enthusiasm, yes.
All right, yes. Well, you know what? We believe it is possible. And we believe that with WikiShap, which is a resource, this training program, we believe that we'll be able to change the world. And it's something that we're incredibly enthusiastic about. I said it, SHAP stands for Sustainable and Comprehensive Humanitarian Assistance and Planning. Our motto is empowering the capable. Our informal motto is empowering you to empower the capable. We've definitely been around for a couple years. We're anxious to be able to learn and grow and develop. There's still a lot of things that we're learning about running an organization. But here's the thing, we haven't been able to do what we wanted to be able to do without the love and the support and the commitment and the connections that the community members at large have been able to make. And we have a favor to ask. We've just got some surveys that we have available. And if any of you have any ideas of ways that we can promote our organization, please let us know. We were recently connected to Hugh Hewitt, if you guys know who that is. He's a radio figure. We're going to be on his show later this year. We're really excited about that. We have individuals who connect us to, hey, I know this family who has a charity, you might be able to apply for a grant for it. Or, hey, I know this corporation's got a great giving program, you might want to apply for it, those kinds of things. So if you guys have any connections or ideas that might help us to be able to develop ourselves as an organization, we'd appreciate it so much. You'll be able to find our other resources there in that flyer. And this is something that I think that we're all in together. We all want the world to be a better place. I think it is. I think we do. And we can't do it unless we all come together and we all support each other. And I really, really appreciate the time that you gave us to be here today. We've been working really, really, really hard to be able to get to where we're at. And we're very excited for where we're going. And thank you so much for the time.